All right, guys, welcome to The Vault. Today we are here with Gee Ehrlich, otherwise known as the Good Chiropractor. He has recently won the world record for deadlift, and we are so glad to have him here on The Vault. Welcome, Gee, to The Vault.
Thanks for having me, yo.
Yeah. So let's first talk about how did you get into being a chiropractor? That's the first thing I have a question about.
Oh, good question, because I was actually a music major at UC Santa Barbara when I first got into college, and I thought I was going to make beats for rap songs. And then one drunken night coming back from Tijuana, I was in a Volkswagen Bug going about 60, and the girl driving just cranks the steering wheel to try to get off, and the Bug rolled 3 times off the side of a cliff. And I was like 19, and I got out, and I was like, oh, I'm actually pretty good. And the girl driving, her legs were shattered. The guy behind me, his ear was severed off. And I thought I was fine. And I ran to the gas station, and I called 911, and I thought everything was fine until I went back up to Santa Barbara, and I put on my drums. I played these quints, like a set of 5 drums, probably like 30, 40 pounds. I put them on, my legs went out. I was like, uh-oh, something's going on. I didn't have any pain. My legs just buckled, and I started having more issues where I would just step off of a curb, and my legs would go off. And then the last time it was real bad. I was in a Wiener Schnitzel on my leg, and I threw the trash away, and my legs dumped for like 2 or 3 minutes. I'm like, something's wrong. So a buddy of mine referred me to this chiropractor. And, you know, growing up without a lot of money, I never really thought that I would be able to do something like that. And I was getting adjusted. I was like, oh, I feel pretty good. And I was looking at this chart on the wall that said medical doctor hours, chiropractic hours. I'm like, dude, these dudes do a lot of school. And so I asked the front desk girl, what did Dr. Greco do? What was his major in college? And she's all, oh, he was a football player. And right then I go, he can do it, I can do it. I'm like, I know I'm smarter than a football player. Right then it clicked. I was like, oh, I'm going to start doing this. And then I saw that the average income for a chiropractor was like $60,000. I'm like, and I'm going to be rich. That's how I got into chiropractic.
So tell me your journey since then. Now you got it down to a science. I love it. I've been there before. You literally, when someone comes in, they check you in, and then they say, okay, sit in the waiting area, and the doctor will be with you, Dr. Gee, and you have an assembly line, and you're like, crack, 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 move to the next, crack, 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 and like, then you get to the 4th booth, and you move back to the first one, and it's like all day long you're going from booth 1 to 4. It is so efficient. I actually have copied your method for my video production, and I tell people your story, and I'm like, I need to have like 4 workstations. You finish what you got, and you go to the next, the next, the next. So tell me about that.
Well, we designed it so we can efficiently see as many people as possible. And when I first started, I mean, this was 21 years ago when I first started, I was adjusting someone, and I would spend a half hour with them, and then I see maybe 10 people the whole day, and I'm like, I'm not helping anybody. And so I started training with some people that were seeing a lot of people, and they're all, no, you gotta break the rooms out. You gotta go side to side, educate them, get them all ready. They're just here to get adjusted. I'm like, okay. And so I started doing that. And now we got this flow where we help hundreds of people a week, and it's amazing. People get great results, and give them stretches, exercise, nutrition counseling, and people come from all over to get adjusted, which is a blessing.
So what's really great about what you do is you not only just crack their backs and be gone, you have actual workshops to help them improve their lives, like you just talked about. And they come in, and like you've got a standing room only crowd sitting there wanting to learn from you. Tell me about that and how you're able to build your community.
Well, we call them the posture parties. And so every month we'll have a posture party where I have people come in, because the physical aspect of getting chiropractic is one thing, but people have a lot of issues with their nutrition and their home care and their mental attitude, which all play a role. Like someone's stressed out all the time, their body heals slower, or someone's eating sugar all the time, their body heals slower. So, we have to educate them on how to eat well. And I learned, like the last posture party was a lot different after doing this deadlift thing. I learned a lot myself in the area of nutrition and recovery and stuff like that. So it's always just an evolving thing of just trying to get people as healthy as possible.
So you're trying to create a lifestyle, like you're showing people that it's not literally just come in, get adjusted, leave. It's creating this whole ecosystem around it so that people are as healthy as possible, right?
Yeah, that's correct. It's a whole, it's a chiropractic lifestyle of just eating healthy foods, not putting crap in your body, exercising the body, positive mental attitude, and you know, what really hits home is like, as you know, Candace, we just had a brother-in-law pass away, tragic heart attack. And, you know, I'm thinking like, damn, like healthy living is not just so you feel good and you wake up with energy and crap like that. But the healthy living really determines how you're going to exit this life and how you're going to be later on in life. You know, you want to go out tragically suddenly, or you want to, you know, have a, you know, cruise, you know, towards the end of the time, I'll be like, hey, yeah, it's time for me to go, call everybody up. I get to say goodbye. Okay, I'm out of here, you know, sit on the porch, drink a beer and pass away. You know, that's part of what opened up my eyes over the last week so far. So it's kind of crazy.
So this is her brother that passed away?
Yeah.
Oh, brother-in-law. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that. I didn't hear that yet.
Yeah. So she's back in Wisconsin right now with him. So.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some more of like what excites you most about doing what you do? Just
watching people's life, because now, you know, I've been doing it for such a long time. Like it doesn't excite me if someone just comes in and like, oh, my back hurts. I'm like, so what? Everybody's back hurts. What excites me is getting people back into their life. Like I'm asking people like, what can you not do because of your back? You know, and that's what excites me. So like a guy comes in, he's got 2 kids. He can't, that's 5 and 7, and he can't play soccer with them because his back hurts. Like that's what gets me excited. So that's what, you know, I'm designing plans to get people better in that aspect versus let's just get rid of the pain. You feel better? Okay, get out of here. You know, we create a whole plan to get people's life working again, you know, or someone wants to run a 10K or a marathon, you know, we're preparing them for that. You know, that's what gets me excited these days, or, you know, just getting people out of wheelchairs, being able to go shopping, whatever someone's goal is, my job's to help them get there.
So you have a patient that I think, is he paralyzed? And
yes.
You've been able to completely change his life with chiropractic. Can you talk about that?
His wife, who was a former patient of mine, he had a stroke. And so after the stroke, the doctors they sectioned part of his head off to release the pressure in the brain. And nothing works on him except during the day his eyes would open, and at night his eyes closed. That's it. That's all his body did. So his wife, Consuelo, called me and said, you know, can you help him? I'm like, I don't know, you know, I'll come and check him, but I got to let you know that, you know, chiropractic helps the body. It works with the body's own innate intelligence, and it helps it to go get healthier. It helps to go wherever it needs to go. You know, all I do is remove interference, and I just let the body do the rest. So I told her, like, you know, I may adjust him and he may pass away. And she's like, that's fine. It's just he can't be stuck in this. He's stuck in this limbo state. Like he's not going anywhere. He's not dying and he's not living. So I went in there with full understanding that, you know, I may adjust him and he may die. And she was fine with that. I'm like, okay, let's go. So I went checked him, and his atlas was like over here, his first vertebrae. And that has a big effect on the brain stem and brain function and body function. You know, like when that atlas gets broken, people are paralyzed, you know, when they get hung. That's how important that atlas is. So I went in there and I said a little prayer and I adjusted him, and his right arm moved.
Wow.
Everybody's like, holy crap. I'm like, he's still here. I'm like, oh, that was a good one. And so And so I went back, and each week I went back, like something new would develop. Like within a week, his eyes started moving side to side, and they were like, "Whoa!" And then his hand would start twitching like this, and like he was able to turn his head a little bit. And so I committed to her that until she can get him in a car, drive him to me, that I would go once a week. And within 3 months, the doctors checked him and they took him off hospice care. So he was doing so well. They and his hand started moving. He was able to start communicating with he still can, where she'll ask him a question and he'll blink to communicate. So we know he's in there, and his right arm's moving. His legs will move a little bit now. He can turn his head slightly. He's got a tube still in his neck, and he's getting fed through a feeding tube. But we changed his. He had this feeding food that's like, it's all like corn syrup and crap like that, So we got him all this organic food to put in his food tube, chlorella, and his body's healing. It's really slow, but she's able to bring him to the office now, and the doctors actually put a plate back into his head, and they're not going to do that if they think the dude's going to die still. So. That was pretty amazing, and so we're just working on getting him going. The next step is get his breathing tube out, because he won't be able to talk until that. But he can if you put a straw up to his mouth, he can actually drink juice now. Like he'll suck and put his lips on, and he can give his wife a kiss. So that's the big one. He can go. So just that, stuff like that, it's just gratifying.
I think that story alone is like a testament to the work that you do and how great that is. That, you were able to help this guy basically get his life back.
Yeah, we're still working on it still, but it's better than where he was. He was in Vegetableville.
Yeah, it's a long road back, but at least there's hope,
For sure, 100%. So
let's talk about some of your other patients. I know that you've adjusted some of the biggest and the best in a lot of different celebrity circles. Can you give us some war stories?
Well, as you know, my wife, Candace Michelle, pro wrestler. So I went on the road with her for a bunch of times for her 5 or 6 year stint. And I worked on probably every single wrestler there is. The Big Show, Triple H, you name them, I adjusted them, basically. Shawn Michaels. And so that was fun, and they all loved getting adjusted. I'd adjust them before, and then they'd go into a chair match, come back all bloody, getting hit by a chair. They're like, "Hey, can you get my neck again?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure." So that was fun. I've worked on a bunch of celebrities in and out of the office, and they're singers and actors and all kinds of stuff. It's fun, but when it comes down to it, they're all just regular people, and they need the help too, So
how did you adjust the Big Show? That guy's like 8 feet tall.
7 feet.
Jump off the bed and like.
I would actually have to stand over him, straddling him, because if I stand up, a regular chiropractic patient is about up to here when they're laying face down. He was up to here. So I actually had to stand on the table straddling him with his head in my neck. And I do that too. It was like a 5-minute adjustment. He was 500 pounds, 510 pounds at the time. Now I think he's down to 400. I just got a text from him saying he wanted to come back in. He hasn't been adjusted since I've adjusted him. Like, no one can adjust him. So he should be cruising in.
He's giant. He's just, I think is he bigger than Shaquille O'Neal?
I think Shaq's 7 foot also, but Big Show has gigantism. So he's like, Shaq at his biggest, buffest was like probably 300, something like that. Like Big Show at like lean, ripped with a 6-pack is 400. So he's just a big human being. You touched on that you are married to a WWE Diva champion. Can you tell me what that's like? Well, she's the alpha in the house, that's for sure. She runs everything, and it's fun because I'm more of the creative, like my head's in the sky, and she's like I got everything organized, I'm in control. She just gets everything done, and so that's good. And it's neat because, you know, our mindsets are different than the average parents probably. And so, you know, she's really motivated to just make these kids champions because that's, you know, that's normal for us. So it's pretty cool that, you know, and she's like, okay, you want to do gymnastics? Okay, you're going to do gymnastics, and you're doing 15 hours a week, and you're 9 years old and 6 years old, and you're going to train. And so, and you're going to wake up, you're going to stretch, you drink protein shakes for breakfast. No breakfast except on the weekends. Then you could have maybe a little cereal or pancake or something. But it's like Monday through Friday, no sugar. It's like crazy. So, wow. But it's fun. It's fun, and she's a real strong, amazing woman. So.
Well, I've seen a video of your kids, and they're kicking butt. Like they're like doing stuff on the beam, and like it's amazing.
They're doing back handsprings, and you know it's crazy because when you're a parent, you're thinking with your kids like, I can do anything you can do, and then it gets to a point where we're like, okay, now I can't do that. And for me, that age was 6. So, yeah, it's crazy.
So behind you, I see one of your keystone products that you have within your business. It's called the Good Roll. And can you kind of talk to me about it? Can you grab one and bring it over?
Basically, I developed this pillow for my patients. I always used cervical rolls to basically, because a lot of people have postural problems where their heads are forward. And then when that happens, all this tightness happens here. And so traditional pillows push the head forward. So I developed a pillow that's actually for the neck, that allows the head to come back. And so basically it's shaped in a circular form, and it just basically goes right under the neck like this. And every one of my patients, this is the first thing they start with. They just lay on it for 30 minutes, and what it does, it actually starts to shape, you know, after about 20, 30 minutes or 6 to 8 minutes, it actually starts to pull the head back and decreases the pain in people's neck. But what makes mine different is a couple things. One, it's made out of organic material. It's an organic buckwheat, so it's non-toxic and there's no chemicals in it. And I made it adjustable because the thing that was difficult is everybody's neck is a different size. So I was having to buy these rolls that were this big, this big, this big, and then they wear out and they're nasty after a while. So I developed this cover where you can actually just, you unsnap it, and now it's a little bit looser. Or if you want it real loose, like you got a big thick neck or you're really small, you unsnap both sides, and now it's just like a limp noodle. So like my kids will sleep on it like this. And so I'll adjust it, one snap, that's perfect for me. Or if you have a really long neck and you like it firm, then you do them both. So it's soft, medium, firm. So it's
but you can fill them up too, right? Like or take it out.
Do it anymore because they're pre-filled. And now you don't have to play with it because of these adjusters now.
Oh, okay. Well, I got to tell you, I've had mine for, I think, 2 years, and I actually use it every night.
Oh, nice.
My wife is like, I try to get her on it, and she won't take it. But I'm like, I swear, it will help your neck. And I'm not trying to be a sales guy, but it actually really helps my neck.
Oh, yeah. Because once you start sleeping on something correct, you can't go back to something that pushes your head forward. It just hurts.
The biggest trick I learned, though, is to put the pressure off your shoulder when you're sleeping.
Right.
And so you kind of, I prop it up on, it looks like fire logs. I prop up a couple on top of each other.
Right. That's perfect. Yeah.
And that has changed my sleep.
I like the fire log analogy. That's
yeah.
Good.
You can copyright it. I'll give that to you.
Perfect. Okay, good.
So tell me what kind of sacrifices you had to make to basically be an entrepreneur with a product now, essentially, and a service. What type of sacrifices did you have to make to get that production all into place? Because I know it's at one point you weren't even able to meet the demand, right?
Well, it took a year just to develop the pillow, but I was like, it was crazy because once you you find something that you're passionate about, and like it's almost not like it's work. Like every spare second, instead of me like jumping on Instagram or something, I was like on Alibaba researching stuff. I'm like, how can I get these snaps for, how much can I get them for, and how strong can I? I'm like getting samples shipped to me, and then I'm doing the design and the trim on there with rhinos with my logo and getting all that done, and you know, even just the tag, getting that made, you know, and every little thing, and just so I was like sucked into it, and so my wife would go to bed, and then I'd stay up late. It's crazy because you do everything on your phone.
Yeah.
And I would be sitting here texting with China, like, how much for these magnets, this and that. And then finally we actually went with India because it's an organic factory and they have cameras, and I know there's no kids making it and stuff. And so like right at 9 o'clock, they basically wake up. So I start communicating with India, and they send pictures back and forth. And so, yeah, all the covers are made in India, but it's crazy because you just, when you love something, it's not really work. It just sucks you in, and you're just like every second of it. Like I just started writing a chapter to my book, and I was like, oh, I can't stop. I'm like, oh, I remember this, and I'm texting my buddies, hey, remember when we were shit-faced at this bar and I got thrown in jail? I'm all, what happened? And they're texting me, and so it's kind of fun when you just get engulfed into something that you love. I don't think it's really work. It's just kind of money is a byproduct of doing it. Like the chiropractic, I just love doing it, and just money's a byproduct, and that's a blessing. And, you know, this is just something I had to make. And, you know, I'm fine with just selling it to my patients, but, you know, other chiropractics, I think we're in like 40 offices now.
Oh.
Selling them. We got them on Amazon now. And so it's like,
it.
We're still having, like every month we're having difficulty keeping up with the demand. Like we sell out almost every month, and every month I'm making a bigger and bigger order. And so like next year we're probably going to have to open like a pillow factory or something.
Tell me about the rhino and the significance of why that's your logo.
Oh, good question. So the rhino is something I got from a book called Rhinoceros Success by Scott Alexander. And he basically describes that there's three types of people. There's cows, there's sheeps, and there's rhinos. The cows, they're just in pastures, and they're just kind of watching life go by. They watch the cars go by. They're not doing much of anything, just grazing. The sheeps, they all line up, and they just follow. And they just do what they're told, and they just follow the next person and do whatever they do. But the rhino, they forge their own path, and they just charge. That's what, you know, I try to surround myself with rhinos, rhino people, rhino pictures to remind me what my family is. And we put them all over our house, all over our office, just to let us know, you know, you're in rhino country, and you know, we don't hang out with cows and sheep, and and if you are, you know, you got to go. So that's the rhino.
Talk about the Chiro Caddy. It's a pimped out ride that you have. Tell me about it.
I was looking for this 57 Caddy for 2 years, and it's just this really nice design. There was only 1,200 made, and the back fins are super sweet, and I couldn't find them anywhere. And every time I found it, it was like, sorry, it's sold. And so I finally found one on Mika Model Auctions. And I'm like, I'm gonna like throw down on this car. I'm gonna spend $30,000 for this car. And so I put in my deposit, and I was on a phone war bidding thing. And so I call, and I'm all, okay, you want to put a bid in? I'm all, yeah, 5,000, 10,000, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 90, 110. I'm like, okay, I have to go now. Bye-bye. Will you send me my deposit back? Thanks. Okay. I was like, okay, apparently the car's worth a lot. That's why I can't find it. Finally, I found it in Nebraska. And I was like, I found it on Monday night on Craigslist, Nebraska. I called the dude up. He's all, yeah, it's still for sale. I'm like, I'll see you tomorrow. I canceled all my patients. I flew out there, and I bought the car. While we're in the car, he gets another call. That someone that wants to buy it. And they're like, we'll give you $5,000 more. He's like, no, the dude's already here. So I got the car, and I loved it. And I got it home, and I was working on it here or there, and then I took it to the shop, and they pulled it all apart, and then the shop goes out of business. So I get and it was running going in. I had to tow it coming back, so the car didn't even run. It was just trash. So it just sat in my side yard for like 7 years. And my wife said, "Why don't you call Ryan to fix your car up?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's a good idea. I never thought about that." Ryan Friedlandhouse is he's the owner of West Coast Customs, and he was a patient of mine for like 18, 19 years. And so I called him up and I dropped it off. He's like, "Dude, if you can do the whole car, we'll put it on the show." I'm like, he's like, "Just to give you an idea, you know, Target pays $500,000. You know what I mean?" I'm like, "Okay, deal, let's go." And so we made the first chiropractic themed Cadillac or maybe car ever. And so we got the Rhino, got this Rhino logo airbrushed down the side, and we got the logo, this logo actually embroidered into the seats and then the floor mat, and it's just sick on airbags, and it's just all done up so nice. The stereo bumps like crazy. That was a prerequisite.
So Batman has the Batmobile, and you have the Chiro Caddy.
Chiro Caddy, that's right. World famous, and it's on the show. You can look it up.
What are some of the mistakes that you have made that you regret over your journey?
I don't really look at them like they're mistakes, because I learned lessons every step of the way, and every lesson that I learned helped me to become the person that I am now. Like all the ecstasy that I did and all the drugs that I sold. That's a whole nother show right there. And, you know, me not going into chiropractic and just selling drugs, you know, that developed me into a certain person, and then almost getting killed. Got my house raided by the DEA. So some stuff like that, doing cocaine, like 1 or 2 8 balls a week for a few years. That was all made me the person I am. But I look back on it, and alcohol, drank like crazy. And, but all of that, you know, makes me, it's like, I'm not going to just give you the map of the trails and be like, "Go hike that," and without me hiking it first. I feel like I've, you know, it makes me more relatable and believable to my patients, because they're like, "Oh, this dude's real. You know, he drank a bunch, he did drugs, and he knows how to get his body healthy. He's not just some yahoo pretending to, you know, be this healthy guru dude that's like, do this, this, and this, and I've never been a bad person." So I think it kind of makes me relatable. And as far as mistakes, you know, I don't think I've made any.
No?
They're just
they're all lessons.
A bunch of challenges, learning lessons. You know, one of the challenges during my deadlift thing was not practicing what I preached. So I was nutritionally perfect, and, you know, I wasn't getting adjusted 3 times a week like I should have been when I'm training really hard. I was getting adjusted like once every 2 weeks, and then 6 weeks before my record attempt, my back blew out. I was like, I better start taking care of this thing. So I better start doing everything that I told my patients to do. And from then on, I was like, every second, I'm like, I'm doing it all. I'm doing the joint, I'm doing my stretching, I'm doing my meditation, I'm doing it all. And I did every single thing. I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right once.
So let's talk about that. I know that you pursued the world record in deadlift, and I want you to kind of map out that journey also. What was that all about? Why did you even get started?
Always wanted to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. And funny, Candace reminded me that like 9 or 10 years ago, I snorted this noodle through my nose, and it came out of my mouth. And I was like doing this. I was like, look, I could be in the Guinness record book. I don't know why. And then before we moved to this house, I was trying to do the world record in air squats. I'm like, man, I think I can do a bunch of air squats. And then I was actually videoing myself from the side, and I'm only going down like halfway. I'm like, it's not going to work. And so I put that on the back burner, and I read this book called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And he broke the world record for most pull-ups in 24 hours. I'm like, that's pretty awesome. I'm like, what could I do? I'm like, I'm really strong at deadlifts, and everybody that comes into my office is afraid of doing deadlifts because it's the most taxing on your back. They're like, I'm not going to do deadlifts, not too heavy. They're wearing back braces. I'm like, why don't I just, that title should belong to a chiropractor. I'm going to prove that what I preach works by breaking this world record. So for 5 months, I trained. I wasn't really serious, though, till about 3 months before the record because I didn't get my acceptance letter from Guinness for about 12 weeks. And then I applied, and then once I got that acceptance letter, I was like, okay, no more screwing around. And the biggest thing for me was I cut alcohol, 100%. I'm like, and that's hard for me because I like to come home Friday night, have a couple drinks, Saturday, a couple drinks, Sunday, a couple drinks, and it was the hardest thing getting rid of that. But because my goal and my mission was so focused, I didn't even want it. And so the last time I drank was like July 7th, like 4th of July weekend. And and this is when I'm like I got the acceptance letter, and then this was the next day. I drank a beer and I got sick. I'm like, whoa, that's weird. And so I didn't drink that day, and I got a headache, almost like a hangover almost instantly. And then the next day I'm like, I'll just drink tequila. And so I drank a tequila, and I was like, it tastes sour. And we drink this real high-end tequila. I'm like, something wrong with this tequila? I'm like, this is bad. And then I got sick again. I got a headache. I'm like, dude, that's a sign. Like, if alcohol is making me sick, it's like I made my goal so big that my body's just rejecting anything that's bad for you. And so I cut it out 75 days. And actually, I went 2 more weeks afterwards. And then I had a margarita. I was like, oh, I'm wasted. And then I got tired. I'm like, I feel like crap.
So let's go to the world record. I know that you had it live streaming from like 6 a.m. till past midnight. And
right.
During that time, your entire office was like this amazing gym. You had dozens and dozens of people supporting you and trying to push you forward. And I was watching it too. I was sitting in bed, like half asleep, and I'm like, I gotta see if he breaks the record. I'm like, my eyes can't stay open. I'm like, I gotta check and make sure. I owe it to him to like see when he crosses that threshold. And you beat it, and then I could go to sleep. But it was just like everyone was pushing you, and you had calluses on your.
Oh man, they were blisters. They're still healing. Like, I don't know if you can see those guys, but they're peeling everywhere right now.
The deadlift is always regarded as the one lift in the gym that people are afraid of. Because why? Because of the lower back. I figured that whoever can lift the most weight with a deadlift in 24 hours should have a pretty strong back. And I could actually probably say they have the world's strongest back. And so I figured if that title belongs to anybody, that should belong to me as a chiropractor.
Oh yeah, my hands were killing me.
How'd you get past that?
It's just, I don't know, I was rough, and I was looking up. Every time I do a set, I'm like, fuck, it's not moving. And then every time I grab the bar, I'm like, oh, my hands are killing me. It's like, I'm not going to be able to keep going. And like, this finger hurts so bad, I thought it was going to rip off. So I had my sister actually go to this market and get super glue. So when I pulled my glove off, if it peeled off, I would glue my skin back on. And so I peeled it off. I'm like, oh, it's not peeled off. But a blister was forming. And then blisters formed all the way across all of these and all of these. And then under my calluses, I got blisters. And like this finger's still a little trashed. You see the blood vessels busted in there. But you couldn't touch my fingers were so tender you couldn't even touch them like this. And so, but after, like, I would just sit there every time, and I had them time me. So I'm like, you got to time me and keep me on track, or else, we can't do this. And so I would do a set, rest 1 minute. And I do that 5 times, and then I get a 2-minute rest. And during that 2-minute rest, they would massage my arms, and it's like a pit crew just coming in and just getting on me. I'm like, lasering my hands and active release my forearms, adjusting me. And it was crazy, but, and then I'd get back. He's all, okay, it's time. I'm like, it went by so fast. And then he'd go, okay, go. And every time I went to grab that bar, I'm like, damn it. And I grab it, and it just hurt like hell. And I just put through it. But, my wife wrote a little thing right at the bottom. I look at it every time I do a rep. It says, remember tomorrow. I'm like, I got to do this. And then I had a picture of my daughter that my daughter wrote up there. So my eyes would go from here to there, here to there. And I just remember all the time I'd sacrificed to train. Like, I'd be working out 4 or 5 hours. It's on a weekend when I could be hanging out with my kids or something. I'm like, I'm not doing all that for nothing. I will go until my skin rips off of my hands. And I didn't use straps, but I had straps in case I needed to. I even bought these straps with metal hooks like this. So if I just needed to lift, but I just used my hands and just powered through the pain. And the last 5 hours, the pain went down probably by 30%. So it was actually tolerable. It was just, I started feeling my hip go out, and it was like things are falling apart. But
so what was that like when you finally did break the record? What was that feeling?
It was amazing. And in my head, I was like, I'm going to break the record. I'm going to take another 20-minute nap, and then I'm going to go 3 or 4 hours. But I knew, like, I took a 20-minute nap like halfway through, and it took the massage guy and massage guns and all kinds of stuff. It took me 30 minutes just to get up and start moving again. And then it took me another 15, 20 minutes to get back into my rhythm. Like, I lifted it once. I'm like, oh no, I'm not even going to be able to lift this. And so it took a full hour for me to really get back into track. And so at the end of the day, I was like, if I take a nap, I'm screwed. Let's keep going. We're going until I get to my 1.1 goal. And I'm like, so I went I think it took me another 2 hours of just pushing through. I'm like, let's do this. I'm not going into the last shift, because every 4 hours you have to switch trainers and witnesses. And I'm like, you're the last witness and trainer. Let's go. I'm breaking it before, and I broke it like right before my goal, right before 2 o'clock in the morning.
What I loved about it was, after I saw you break the record, and I had to watch it on replay the next morning, but you were like, whoa, 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 whoa. You did like 30 or 40 like in a row at the very end. Like, you didn't
that was the very last set.
Yeah, like that last set was like crazy. Like, and I was like, how is he still able to even move his arm?
Well, I was like, I was only doing sets of 15.
But the other thing at the end, though, was you let go and you broke your own record, and then you put your hands in the ice. And Candace, your wife, comes around and hugs you. Tell me about that moment.
Oh, it was just amazing. Like, I was like, I'm just going to do as many as I can. I'm going to use it all, and I'm just going to go. And so I just pounded out. I'm like, I feel pretty good at 15. And I told everybody, this is the last set. And everybody's counting and counting. I'm like, let's keep going. Let's just keep going until my body just stops. And then after about 30, my hip was starting to hurt. I'm like, I think I can knock another 10 out. So I just did a last set of 40 just to put a little exclamation point on it. And then after I was done, I was like, ice, my hands. And then, like, Candace came up, and it was just, she was my rock the whole time. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
And now you have a family full of champions in different disciplines. I love it.
Right. So
I want to segue into, because we're kind of short on time, but I want to segue into a couple more questions here. And one of them is, I want you to look into the camera and talk to your younger self and give yourself some advice on what you think would have been excellent to have back in the day.
My advice would
talk to younger KenGee. Like,
hey, younger KenGee, here's my advice to you. I know you're poor and you don't think you're going to go anywhere because you grew up in Lancaster in a mobile home, but things get a lot better later. So get your confidence up because you're going to be a champ someday.
You get the girl, you get the car, you break the world record. Man, you got the trifecta right now.
That's it, you know?
So, as you may know, the Vault is all about the secrets of success and unlocking those secrets. So most people think that, maybe money or riches is the key to happiness and success, but I think it's the knowledge. And I would love to learn from you what you feel the secrets are to success.
I think you just have to have a goal. You have to have a goal that motivates you enough to make you want to charge after it. Like after a big goal too. Like it can't be like some little goal. It's got to be like something big and something that gets you focused to where you need to be excited about it. And it needs to be to where like you're so excited that like every spare second you spend on it, versus, because if you don't have that goal, you're just going to do junk time on the TV or junk time on the phone. Like last night, like I started getting in my head, like I'm going to write a book. Like 2 days ago, it just popped into my head. I got another world record that I'm going to break in probably March with the deadlift also. Most weight in 1 minute. I'm going to do 13,500 pounds.
Wow.
So I have to deadlift 225 60 times in 1 minute. So, but that's in March. I'm going to hit that, but it just clicked. I'm like, I'm going to tell my story. Like my story is pretty rad, especially with the world record at the very end. And I want people to know, like, you can go through all this shit and sell drugs and still become a doctor and like come out of it like doing pretty good. And so right when it clicked, like I'm gonna write a book and it's called Dealer to Healer.
Ah.
Ooh, snap. And then so like I was like sucked into it, and all of a sudden I'm like I emailed 2 publishing companies of the last 2 books that I wrote. The David Goggins one, that Can't Hurt Me. Like I'm like, well, let's start there because that's the book that stimulated it. And then this other one. And then I was like, I had like 10 extra minutes at my girls' gymnastics class, and I'm going through. I've already read probably 40 books this year, and a lot of them are audio. So I'm like looking through all my books this year. I'm like, I'm going to send an email to every single book I read this year. And I'm going in, I'm writing their name down, I'm writing which book it is. I'm like, every second's consumed by it. And then this morning I woke up, I'm like, maybe I need to send them one of my chapters. Oh, I got to write a chapter first. And so I just started with the chillers, when I got thrown into jail when I was in chiropractic college. And so I told the whole story about that and how it got busted with battery on a police officer, and then I'd go to county jail for a week. And so I started with that story right there, and I couldn't, and it wasn't finished. And I texted 2 of my friends that were there. I'm like, what's your story? It's a little fuzzy because we're really drunk. And so they both sent me stories, and it's crazy because I came in here and I was supposed to go for a hike with my dog, and I couldn't go for the hike because I had to get that onto the paper. I was like, I can't. And I had to sit down for 30 minutes to write the rest of that chapter. And then I went for the hike. So I think you need to get something that just excites you and just motivates you and just drives you. If you can find that, you're blessed.
You told me that you lived a life where you're selling drugs, you lived in a mobile home, you had no money. What was your rock bottom moment?
Rock bottom was when I was partying a lot, taking a lot of ecstasy, and I basically had 0 money to my name. I would just go out, sell 100 pills, and that was just enough to get me through the night and then the next day. And so I met this amazing girl named Candace, and it was rock bottom, but it was also probably the best day of my life. And, I wanted to take her out, for lunch, but I only had $5 to my name. So we had to go to El Pollo Loco, and we had to split a meal. And so, you know, I pull out all the stuff. So you put the napkin on your lap. I ain't got no money. I'm supposed to be this chiropractor. And so that point, right before I met Candace, was my ultimate low. And it transitioned to the ultimate high after that.
That's amazing. And you should write that down, the ultimate low to the ultimate high. But it's not a drug high. This is like a life high.
Yeah, I think I was probably high, though.
What advice do you have for entrepreneurs like yourself?
Get up and grind. Get up at 5 a.m. and get working. Don't feel entitled, because it just takes labor and effort, and get up and do it. Don't wait for someone else to give you permission. You just get up and you just make it happen. You want to create something, you got to get up and just do it. Write some goals down, do some steps, and don't rely on anybody but yourself. And if you don't do it, it's your fault.
So how do you deal with doubt in all the areas of your life?
I doubt everything. Every day I'm doubting. Oh my gosh, so like I'm doubting if I can even do this podcast properly or this interview. But I just don't allow any negative stuff to come out of my mouth when I'm doubting things. Even though I may be scared shitless or whatever, I don't let my brain hear it come out of my mouth, because I believe that whatever your brain perceives, it usually can go that way. So if you're saying you're always sick, I'm always sick and fall. Like, people always get sick and fall when they say that all the time, or I'm bad at math. I'm bad at math. There's no way you can ever get good at math if you just keep negatively affirming that in your brain. So we speak positive affirmations. I write my goals down every day just to make sure, is this still the goal I want every day? You know, I'm going to write a book. I need to write that goal down. I'm going to deadlift 13,500 pounds. I write it every day. I write it down. It's like, that's still what I want? Yes, still what I want. And it changes every month. It'll change, and I'll delete some stuff. And so just got to, you know, not let it come out of my mouth and just stay focused on the positive. And there's always shit, but, you know, I could deal with it. And move.
And I see a TV show in your future. I think I could see you definitely having something. We've talked about it many times, but I definitely, every time I'm with you, virtually or in person, you make me smile. Like, you have like this energy about you that's like infectious. Like, there's times where my cheeks hurt because of you, because you're making me laugh so much.
Right. That's funny.
So anyway, we're gonna wrap up. Our last two questions. One of them is, what is your prized possession? Because we have a lot of different possessions in the vault. What is the thing that you hold the most dear?
My health. Number one. There's nothing more important than your health, because you can have all that money that you got laying there. You can't buy a leg that works, or you can't buy a good heart. You know, or you may be able to buy like a pig heart or something like that. But you can't, with that money, you could take all of that and give it to some sick dude in a wheelchair, and he can't hike up a mountain like I did this morning.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Like,
no, you can't buy health. And so my health, like, I'm the healthiest I've ever been in my life right this second. I can go and do anything right now. I ain't afraid to do anything. My health is great. And, you know, I think I'm going to live to 100. I'm going to see great grandkids, and I'm going to be chilling on the beach in Hawaii when I go out, watching the sunset with Candace. I'm going to be like, all right, this is the night. You know, let's go. I'll have a beer, she'll have some wine, drink it, and the kids will find us in the morning after they say goodbye. You know, that's what good health can do for you. So health, number one.
I love it. I love it. Well, once again, thank you so much for being on our show. The last question I have for you is, where can people find you online?
thegoodchiropractor.com or at The Good Chiropractor, Facebook and Instagram. And then you could tie into The Good Roll through any of those portals also. But it's just The Good Chiropractor.
I love it. Well, thanks again for being a guest on our show. And
thanks for having me.
I want to hear about your next record and obviously all the great things, your book and all that. So when you get that done, let's talk about that too.
Yeah, baby.
All right, later.
See you now.
All right, so if you guys want to be a guest on this show, we would love to have you. We're looking for people, once again, top in the entertainment, sports, and business industry, inspirational content, people who are movers and shakers. We want you on our show, and thanks again for watching The Vault.